Hey YouTube, I just got back from the New York Shonen Jump, and I'm here to give a deck analysis and deck profile of the deck I used to win with. It's my fourth time winning a Shonen Jump, and I'm the only person to have won forward Shonen Jumps. It was a very tough tournament, and I had very good opponents throughout the day. Um, but I believe this deck is the best deck in the format right now, and it just has such a cheeseball way to win on 4 automatically, pretty much. And even if you don't hit that combo, there's many other win conditions. Either just plain out rushing with like your early game, or sitting back late game on stuff like first Hokage, or just like deploying a Kabuto and getting like that first Hokage or that second Tsuchikage out that you need. So, without further ado, I'll get onto the deck profile and I'll explain all my choices to you. So, first off, I played 3 Sasuke, solo attitude. Um, he is one of the best zero drops in the game. He's a 5 combat, and he swings for 2. A lot of people were playing Sakura Kimono yesterday for the draw engine with Rock Lee Loopy Fist, and if they open Sakura Kimono against a Sasuke, they're in for a really tough match. And Sasuke is just a really strong zero drop to rush with. 3 Shikamaru. He's not beat by pretty much, like, he can beat any other zero drop in the format right now except himself. And he allows you to swing with 3 teams. If you drop like Sasuke Shikamaru, you can swing through almost indefinitely, especially if you went first. He's just a really strong zero. He had 4 mental power. If you have Sheikah's Decision, you can search for anyone in your deck, which is very helpful. Oftentimes, I would search for like a Deidara or a Kabuto off of my Sheikah's Decision because I had Shikamaru out. He has 4 mental power for Ino as well, and for Mind Transfer. Next up is 3 Hotaru. She's a really good filter, decent combat, good symbols for my deck. I was able to deploy Kabuto a couple of times yesterday on 6, and that ended up winning me the game, and I was able to use her as a hand cost. Her Flashpoint effect is very good. If I'm not rushing them, I can just set up my combo by discarding all the pieces of the combo that I draw, and filter through my deck to get those pieces, the Sakura's Tears and the Wind hand cost, to my hand. And she has 2 mental power and female for Sheikah's Decision and for Mind Transfer. Next up is 1 Tenten. Tenten does a similar thing as Hotaru. She's also really good compared to Hotaru, though, because she has 1 combat injured. So if they open almost any other 3-0 zero drop, Tenten can injure and be higher than them if they double knock. And she lets you filter your deck, obviously, by discarding the pieces of the combo that you draw. And she can also self-mill if you discard a non-earth card. Last, I took out one of my Tentens for a Choji from the new set. He's really strong versus, like, if they open a Sasuke and they swing for 2, he's as strong as Sasuke now, and he can be teamed up. And he helped me win a couple of games, and he was an important part of me winning the final game of the tournament, which I'll explain later. I ran 3 Naruto, obviously. Opening Sasuke Naruto is an extremely strong opening. If they don't have a Shikamaru in play or something that can start mental power, they're most likely going to lose. And Naruto helps me filter my deck and get the combos into my discard pile, and helps me rush. You know, Childhood, she's limited to 1. I don't see why you wouldn't play her. She's a really, really good zero drop. I didn't hit her throughout the tournament very often, but I did end up hitting her in the finals, and that definitely helped me win. And like, there's no reason not to play her. She has Mind for Mind Transfer to get the Expert, which is also very important. So I will suggest that I put in another Ino to use the Mind Transfer to get the Expert on Mind Transfer more, but I feel it's not needed. I feel there's way better ninjas to play than another Ino. 1 Tamari, very good utility, very good card to search out with Shiko's Decision. 1 mental power is decent if you have like an Ino Childhood's 5 mental power thing. If you have like Hotaru, Ino, Tamari, you hit the 5 mental power. And she lets you know what's in your opponent's hands, to know if you can swing through with your jutsu, or if you can play your combo, or if you need to like search out a Shino to get rid of their mission negation, or stuff like that. And I played 1 Karn because I knew that Fang's Rush was going to be a really strong deck. I took out Suigetsu for a Karin because I didn't think there were going to be that many counters to my main deck, and she counters rushing decks well because I can heal my ninjas to stabilize, and she gets rid of the discard pile jutsu that 10-10 would pick up otherwise. So that's why I took Suigetsu out in the main deck for her last minute. I just think she's really good. 2 mental power and ambush and water for to deploy Kabuto if I need to. 2 Shino. He's one of the main cards. The reason the deck functions the way it does because he can guarantee your victory essentially on 4, or like even just getting rid of a Kirinai so that you can swing for your BRs to win the game, or to get rid of their next drop or their mission they want to play is very strong. I ended up putting in 1 Sakura. My justification for that was she's an additional battle ward on the turn I Rennie Rebirth if I have her in the discard pile because I can swing out and they almost definitely won't be able to have a team that's stronger than her. But I never ended up using her like that. I deployed her a couple of times. I mean, she does have 3 mental power for Mind Transfer, which is strong. But I didn't see her a whole lot. But I don't think I would have put anything else in there because I needed my wind symbols up, and she was just another wind symbol in the deck. 2 Kirinai. Kirinai is really strong. She gives me that extra turn I need to win the game via my combo, or to stabilize to like start fighting back. And she also has Genjutsu for Kakashi if needed. I tried Kankuro in place of one of her, and he just didn't do as much as like I thought he would at first because I wanted to play Kankuro in this deck, but you didn't hit the early wind chakra very often, and Kankuro just isn't nearly as good as being able to get like a whole additional turn. 1 Hedon. Hedon always came in handy. He was an extra battle ward, potentially 2 with second Okage by if you hadn't deployed that turn and you had Heat on your discard pile, you get Heat on out via Ghetto Art, and then you discard it, and then you bring it back to the Chakra area with second Okage's effect, and you ambush it and discard it. So in a way, he's like another Deidara because he gets you 2 battle wards. Granted, you take 2 battle wards, they win 2 of their own battle wards, but generally that's irrelevant. 2 Deidara, he's the combo of the deck. Like, he's needed to win all the battle awards. Not much more to say. A lot of people, like, when they Neji'd, like, they would call Naruto, which is a good call, but personally, like, I think Deidara is a better call because Deidara is how I win. Like, I can rush you, but oftentimes, even when I rush you, I end up relying on either just ghetto arting, like one Deidara into play if I didn't get a whole lot of filter cards, or just keeping Deidara in hand and deploying him on 5 and popping him off for the win. 2 Kabuto. He's obviously necessary for the combo to get a ninja from your discard pile out, but a couple of times during the tournament I would deploy him and then either get like a first Okage out or a Deidara out or just a bigger ninja to let me stabilize and eventually win the game. 1 first Okage. He was definitely the MVP. I would have lost my top 8 match if it weren't for him. I sat there for a good like 8 turns, just drawing and passing pretty much between me and my opponent until I had the cards I needed to win the game. 1 second Okage. Like I said with Hidan to do that, and with Deidara, you sometimes don't have the Earth or Fire Chakra needed to pay for his effect, so you can bring that back. Or if you don't have a huge discard pile and you're not running rebirthing in a lot of guys, but you have second Okage in there, you can bring back a Sheikah's Decision or a Sakura's Tears that you already milled over, or a Gito Art into your hand, so that you can use it next turn and eventually hopefully win. I played 1 second Tsuchikage. I was debating with this spot between this guy and Kakashi, but I ultimately chose him because Kakashi I didn't have very many hand costs for, and you could pay a hand cost with him for anyone if you needed to deploy them. And he definitely won me a couple of games, and I feel like people play more Genjutsu ninjas than they do 6-drops, because not a lot of decks in the format play 6-drops, and That's pretty much why I played him. I think I was the only one in Top Cut that played him, and I was the only one that I saw in the tournament playing him. But he's really strong. That's it for the ninjas. 3 mind transfer for the jutsus. Great with the mind with Eno Childhood, but I didn't use that very often at all. Like I said, it's mainly for swinging through for those battle rewards or countering their jutsu. It's really powerful if you have Shikamaru out, because unless they have a Shikamaru out, you'll always be able to trump their mind transfer unless you have the same ninja and they use it with the ninja you already have. But yeah, I think mind transfer is one of the most powerful juices in the format right now. And then I went for 2 Super Slap. I wanted to up the jutsu count because I was afraid of Fang's Rush, and I needed to be able to answer some of their early jutsus. When I open like Sasuke Naruto, I'm not able to use my mind transfer, but I'll always be able to use Super Slap, and it has the alternate cost of 3 anything, which I can sometimes generate some chakra like fire and lightning chakra that, like, if I have to hard charge that I don't want. So and you can pay, like, if you have ninjas in your discard pile that you want to get into your or ninja in your chakra that you want to get into your discard pile for Renee Rebirth, you can pay the 3 to get them all in there. It's a really good card, this format. And then I dropped Vacuum Blade down to 2. To put in the expansion or the Super Slap. I replaced the Vacuum Blade with a different win card, which I'll show you very soon. But it wasn't very effective, and I wanted more aggressive jutsus to win free battle awards. I don't think I played this very often, but it was mainly just holding it onto it in case I needed it, because if they had a really powerful jutsu that I needed to negate, or if I just needed it for the hand cost for Sakura's Tears or Ashika's Decision. Then I played 3 Student and Sensei. A very good early mission. Earth, it sets up your chakra for 5 of your jutsus. And it's turn 1. Opening a hand with a Student Sensei and a 0-drop is just a really good opening, because you're going to see the next like 4 to 5 cards of your deck, so you should be able to hit another 1 or 0-drop. Then I played 3 Sheikah's Decision, one of the best missions in the format. Search for anything off of a Shikamaru, search for your females that are really important, and then you get the draw for it too. Or sometimes I would just search Naruto because so I could rush them and mill my deck if I had Sakura's Tears in hand. Very versatile card and one of the best missions in format. Then the card that I took out for the 3rd Vacuum Blade was Loss. I don't think I played Loss more than maybe once in the tournament, but it was just an additional card to draw so I could hit my combo or hit some ninjas to play. It was mainly because I wanted another mission because I upped the jutsu count. So that I could generate chakra to play the jutsu, and I wanted an early game mission, and I needed to keep the win count, and Loss is pretty much the only early good win mission in my opinion. Then 3 Sakura's Tears, of course, the combo. A couple of times I used Sakura's Tears to copy Ashika's Decision to search something out that was important. Like if they had Shimon out, I Sakura's Tears to copy Ashika's Decision, so that I could try to search for Suigetsu, but they ended up negating it anyways. But yeah, mainly for the combo, but occasionally you could use it for utility. And then, of course, 3 Geto Art. A nice thing with Geto Art is it ignores the sacrifice on 2nd Tsuchikage. That's just a nice perk. One time I made a mistake that almost cost me the game, where I had Kabuto and another ninja, and I sacked my other ninja to use Kabuto's effect. And I was originally intending on putting first Hokage in play, but they chained Karn to put first Hokage to my chakra area. So I brought Tsuchikage out, and I had forgotten about a sacrifice. And then, so my opponent was like, so who are you going to sacrifice? And obviously I had to sacrifice Kabuto, and I almost lost the game because of that. So that's just something you need to keep in mind if you're playing Tsuchikage outside of anything besides Geto Art. On to the squads. The first squads are going to be the squads that I actually mainly played. 2 Danzo. I actually don't think I Danzo'd throughout the tournament, But it was a nice option. 2 mental power. If you have an injured Sasuke, there's no reason not to. If you have the fire hand cost and you can spare it. 2 heat on. I also never went into heat on, but he was there in case I was just locking with first Okage and I could sit there and just win, and I didn't have the heat on or the Kabuto out, and I could just sit there and win via his effect. Then this is the card that Choji helped me win with. I played this card in the finals. I had top decked a Choji. I had an injured Ino and a healthy Shikamaru, but in order to make 3 teams of 5, I had to squad into this. And what I did was, he had 2 ninjas out. He was already in a pretty poor position, but I mind transferred his Naruto, and their effect went off, so I was able to injure a guy, and I injured their Naruto, so I put Naruto as a head ninja over over this squad to make me an 11, and he had mind transferred my Sasuke, and he put it behind his injured Ino, so it was a 6 to my 11, and he didn't realize that until Showdown happened. And then it OV'd his team. It cleared his board, and I had 9 Battle Wars at that point, so there was no way he could come back to win. Then the rest were just cards I could have gotten off of my transfer. Jirobo, if I stole an Asuma for those 2. If I squatted Ino Shikucho and stole the Sakura, very unlikely, but I had it in there just in case. Susanoo, Kisame. Eric Malone was actually playing Kisame, so this was actually an important card to have in here in case I faced him. This was a card that made me want to play Kakashi, but I wasn't sure. Like, I obviously picked the Tsuchikage over him, but this was a nice combo against Revitalize, because I thought Revitalize might be a little more prevalent, but it really wasn't. This Sage mode, I don't have the Hokage Naruto, so I didn't play the Hokage Naruto. But I actually won with the Kage Naruto because I won one of the games because I stole Kage Naruto with Mind Transfer and used his effect to get my Deidars in the discard pile so Kabuto could bring it out. One Heretical Icon. Naraka Path was actually kind of prevalent during the tournament, so that was there. And then one Killer Bee version 2. Some of the weapon decks were playing Killer Bee, so that's why I needed this guy in there. And onto the side deck. 2 Self-Conversation against the mirror match, or a deck like NVS, maybe something that relies on a mission. I don't think I ever ended up signing it in, but it's nice to have in the sideboard just in case. Quiet Day, a similar thing against the mirror match, but I didn't end up needing it. I don't think I started in once. I put it in kind of because Ryan and Scott were saying Quiet Day was good. I mean, I didn't really see a matchup where Quiet Day would have been good except the mirror match, and I didn't think many people were going to be playing this deck, but I put it in anyways. 1 Idle Comrades. I sided this in a good amount of times. It won me a couple games when my opponent would play Shimon, and I'd be able to kill one of their ninjas. 2 Overwhelming Hunger. I sided it in a lot, but I never hit it. I'd always mill it, or they would get rid of it with like Tamari or Shino. But it's just good versus Tailed Beast and Tailed Beast Bomb. Interrogation. I sided this in a couple of times against. I sided if I had to side Mind Transfer out because they had a lot of the same ninjas than me, or they had high mental power, I could put it in Interrogation. Or if it was a rush deck with a lot of high combats like Tailed Beast, I could take a Super Slap out for Interrogation. It was just another jutsu that added a rush aspect. It was pretty good. 2 Suigetsu. Sided this in a lot of game 2s when I knew people were going to be siding Shimons or like Pakuns or just cards that were going to be like annoying for me. I didn't feel he was necessary main deck. And then 1 more Karn versus the Fang's Rush deck, so that I could put back their jutsus that they want to pick out of the discard pile. So that's the deck that took first place at the first jump of the season. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.